With this current console generation, game developers are able to push the boundaries of what's possible, creating worlds that are more realistic, more complex, and vaster than has ever been seen before. So with so many possibilities ahead of us, why is it that so many developers and publishers are looking back at what came before? Hi, this is Total Cult Gaming, and today we're having a look at HD remakes and remasters and what that means for gamers and the industry.
So before we go any further, let's just differentiate between the two. A remaster is when the original game is upscaled to a higher resolution and frame rate, usually from a previous console generation. A remake is when the game in question is rebuilt from the ground up in an entirely new engine with new graphics, sounds and features.
Now, many older games are considered classics that would warrant being brought up to date. I was personally very happy when EA announced that they were actively looking into remastering certain games, in particular the Mass Effect trilogy, and then they just did a U-turn and pulled that rug out from underneath us and said that no, we're not doing remakes and remasters.
Others are literally drooling over the remastered Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, complete with a massive graphics overhaul, all previous DLC, and access to mods on the Xbox One, a privilege that was usually reserved to PC gaming. Now, there are obvious detractors who would claim that time and resources dedicated to remastering older games are time and resources taken away from developing newer titles. That being said, we've heard very little about a new Elder Scrolls game coming anytime soon. On the other side of this argument, we have Capcom. Now, they're a company who were facing financial uncertainty at one point and were even rumoured to be selling off their IPs to Nintendo. Now, thankfully that didn't happen, and Capcom have seen new life in their revenue stream in the form of HD remakes and remasters of the Resident Evil series, beginning with a complete remake of the first title, or more specifically the GameCube version. Rebuilt from the ground up in a new engine, this 20-year-old classic has been brought forward to the current console generation, followed swiftly by the GameCube exclusive Resident Evil 0. However, a complete remake requires resources and money, so instead of the expected remake of Resident Evil 2, we got a remaster of the much maligned Resi 6. Now, this has since been followed up with remasters of not only Resi 5 and 4, but definitive editions of other Capcom games like Devil May Cry 4 and DMC, along with a complete re-release of the first 3 Dead Rising games for current-gen consoles. Other games to see the remaster treatment include the superb Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, Saints Row 4 bundled with its DLC and Gat Out of Hell, and of course Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, that caused no small amount of gamer outrage, as at time of writing it's being held to ransom behind the paywall of only being available as part of the special deluxe edition of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. If you want to play the original Modern Warfare, and many do, then you've essentially got to shell out for 2 games to get it. Now, not all publishers are treating the recycling of old games as a cash bucket. The recent remasters of the BioShock trilogy are being sold as a complete package, bundling all 3 games and their DLC for the price of a single current-gen release. In addition to that, anyone who purchased BioShock 1 or 2 through Steam will receive the new updated versions for absolutely nothing.
But what does this mean for the games industry? On the one hand, we've got classic games that help shape the landscape of gaming being brought back into the light for the new generation. On the other, we've got companies that are essentially resting on their laurels, knowing that they can make just as much money for half as much work. So how do you feel about it? Are you stoked at being able to play some of these last-gen classics? Is there a particular game that you would love to see brought up to date? Or are you just sick of the endless remasters and remakes being churned out, making you wait seemingly longer for new and innovative titles? Let us know in the comments section below, and as always, game on.